I'm doing a series of lives. You'll probably notice that. And they're very quick little lives. And the reason why I'm doing them is because questions are coming up in my group and I find it interesting. So here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about fear and blaming technology. So as you probably know, a lot of people are afraid. Well, there's different types of camps. There are people using ChatGPT to ask a question. It's the quickest way to Wikipedia. It scours the internet. Some people are using it to connect with their guides. And some people are using it to write resumes. And some people are afraid that it will enhance psychosis, depression, and codependency. And I think that what people don't understand is that whatever Achilles heel, whatever vulnerability, whatever deficit, whatever problems you have, a person has, it's already there. You don't need ChatGPT. You don't need a word processor. You don't need a phone for the problem to be there. What it probably does is enhance the issue. So rather than be afraid of the technology, find out how you can master it. Master yourself. Maybe you can learn in 2 seconds flat a mantra that could be particularly powerful for you in Sanskrit. You could say to ChatGPT, I'm feeling anxious. Give me a Sanskrit mantra that will heal me. You know me, so what do you think? And then you copy and paste. And then you go on Yahoo, Google, DuckDuckGo, or whatever to see if it's if it's an actual Sanskrit mantra, if you're afraid of it. But if you're afraid that ChatGPT is going to bring about nefarious forces, if that's one of your fears, then don't use it because you've created the energetic frequency to matching with that concern. Now, I'm going to actually bring up the Ouija board because anybody who is in the spiritual community is going to say, well, what about the Ouija board? The Ouija board has been around before I was born and has developed a very intense, specific egregore of energy. Very similar to the 1%, some, not all, who have brought about using egregores to bring about demonic energies, okay, for whatever their purposes are to create egregores within our own communities to control us. Because let's be honest, how can 1% out of 99% control 99% with such ease? With fear. Fear. That's it. And again, I've brought the analogy of the elephant, who's a baby elephant, who's trained, tied on a plastic chair. It's a little baby. And now suddenly you have a 2-ton elephant, making this shit up. And this elephant has been trained to think that if it's tied to a plastic chair, it can't move. It can't be free. It can't just take off. It actually thinks that chair is bigger, more powerful than itself. And the 1% have been using that against us for centuries, very successfully. You got to give them kudos. They fucking knew what they were doing. And because some, not for all, but for many, religion has lost its hold on us, they've had to use other things to create fear in us. But fear and is one of the most brilliant tools used to control the masses in whichever direction, and distractions. Again, we go back to the Romans, who understood blood and wine and bread. Keep them fucking distracted. And what do we have in this country? What do we have in Europe? We have soccer, football, and other sports, gladiator sports, if you will. And we actually do have gladiator sports. We have wrestling matches. We have boxing. We have kickboxing. What the fuck? Okay? And so we are actually living, again, like 2,500 years later, the same games are being played on us. It's actually brilliant shit, you gotta admit. So how you use technology, how you approach technology is no different than if you took an ink pen and paper and wrote a scathing letter or a loving letter. You could write a very mean, bitter, angry, accusatory letter to someone and send it and cause harm. Or you could write a very loving letter. So its intention is everything. The way you see yourself, the way you see the world. If you think the universe is out to fuck you, the universe will actually not disagree with you, and you will actually go through many, challenges to prove to you that you're correct. And so this is why many of us in the spiritual community understand that what you think is going to be your reality. And it's very difficult. This is why Andromeda Flame, myself, Water Bear Medicine, the Feeling Studio, we all talk about how, meditation, the process of mantra, being aware of your inner dialogue and how this impacts your outside environment. And I've talked about it very candidly in my own journey, and many, many times on my lives, and you can check them out on YouTube. And one of the things I know, and I tell this to people, is like, if you're dealing with someone who is dying or has died, this is going to mess up your landscape, especially if you haven't done the appropriate spiritual work beforehand. So I'll give you an example. So if somebody dies that you love and you've never meditated and you've never worked on your chakras and you've never chanted, it's going to take you down. However, if for years and years you've been doing this and somebody dies that you absolutely love, this is going to be the very thing that keeps you from falling apart, your daily spiritual practice. And so you'll be able to either keep your head above water, or you'll be able to still continue to heal and eventually thrive and come out of this loop of loss. You know what I mean? So ChatGPT is your ally if you think it's your ally. Just like the universe is your ally if you think it's your ally. Just like if you think that you always lose, then that's going to be your reality. If you think that you always win, then you're more likely going to win than lose. It's weird too, because I'm not going to say it's common sense, because obviously it's not, or else we wouldn't have so many people suffering on the planet. But I did make some efforts in reading books on the subject that are like what I call primers, primers. I mean, one of the great books to get you going and understanding the holographic universe and the nature of how the universe moves and why the universe actually relies. It gets its energy not from what you say. Okay, let me explain. If you say, I am so grateful I have a house, but you're absolutely depressed, it's not picking up on what you say, it's picking up on your feeling. It's the feeling, because the universe is a feeling universe. It actually doesn't give a fuck what you say, actually. I'll give you an example. If you've decided that you have a new house, and instead of actually feeling it, you're visualizing, you're taking a shower, and you're like, oh my God, I love my new house. God, I love this shower in my new shower. I love this. It's made out of brass. Oh my God, the tile, it's so beautiful. And you're feeling this expansive energy. The universe is going to respond. Way better than you writing on a pad, journaling. I love my new house. I love my new house. I love my new house. And you feel absolutely desperate, fearful, and you actually don't believe it. There's a part of you that's like, I never win. I never win anything at all. But you're writing the sentence because you've been told by some person, or you've read this in a book, that it's a good idea to do the 369 project, which it is. It is actually. But you have to feel it. You have to feel it as if it's already yours. And if you feel like you've never won anything, then that feeling is going to override what you have intended. Your desire isn't enough. Your desire partnered with fear, despair, depression isn't going to help you. You can say all kinds of fucking affirmations, whatever, but it's never going to work until you feel it. That's the magic. And you feel it in the present tense as if you already have it. And you've heard this before. I hope to God you've heard what I've just said before. And it's just a reminder. I hope to God. Because that's the magic. That's the missing link. It's not enough to affirm. It's not enough to have little yellow, post-its all over your walls with affirmations. If you're fucking going through the dark night of the soul, you have to feel it. You have to feel the joy. And what does it feel to have a new house? What does it feel to have just gotten, finished a book signing, having a cup of tea in your kitchen? How does it feel? It feels pretty fucking amazing. And you feel that while you're having a cup of tea. You're feeling the flush success of having had a book signing with 300 people, and you had a talk, and you read a little bit for like a half a chapter of your book. And right now you're having a cup of tea, and you're feeling the glow of that successful book signing, and your book's a bestseller, right? It's feeling. And so when you combine that kind of energy, right, an intention, and daydreaming, fantasying, playing with the universe, you're having a good time, you're playing, and you add 369, and the best one is called the 369 Project, which I've talked about before many times. You're going to be on a fucking roll. And so that's what people are missing. Do you see? So when you're afraid of anything, right? Like, to be honest with you, I will never, ever touch, and I'm going right back to the original question, which would be, well, Tony, if ChatGPT is so fucking benign, why aren't you using, why aren't you using the Ouija board? Because the Ouija board has been around for decades, and the egregore is been set up. It's been programmed with certain energies that I won't fucking go near. And various weirdos have played with the Ouija board, just like I will never do seances. Never. I would never do a seance. You couldn't fucking put $100,000 on the table, because, again, it's developed an egregore, and some really funky, nefarious people were playing with seances. I don't know if you know what I mean by seances, but whatever. And so for me, it's like there are technologies that are brand new that haven't been fucked with, and many of us in the starseed community who remember our incarnations as Andromedans, as Arcturians, Lyrans, Pleiadians, whatever. The list goes on. There's other, if you want to buy books on this, and actually an incredible book is The Galactic of Races, I believe I'm saying it correctly. It's by Elena Dannon, Danaan, Elena. She's a French woman. And she was being abducted. Her family was abducted. I remember my first book on that subject was called Communion. It came out in the early 70s. And my point to you is there are many races. But anyway, in our other incarnations, many of us are remembering this, thank God, is that we were using various types of technologies, hoverboards, using high frequency sound, music, being able to do harmonic singing, which many of us have forgotten, which people are still, thank God, have the knowledge and are teaching people how to do harmonic singing. It's very similar to what you heard in The Fifth Element, the movie by Luc Besson. So we remember, okay? And so technology on high realms was never the problem. I think many of us are having a knee-jerk memory of Atlantis and how technology was used for demonic reasons. Let's be honest. And so, but how do I put this? But we're not playing it out again. There's some parts of it. There's some players, like leaderships, you're seeing it right now, that have returned, that are playing out their role once again the way they played their role back in Atlantis, probably 50 years, 25 years before it fell. And but the technology that we have control over it. The Akashic Record Keepers, the Masters, the Galactic Council, various elders from various star nations are using various things to communicate with us. And they started, before there was ChatGPT, how were they communicating to us? They were calling it angel numbers. I don't know if you remember. They were calling it angel numbers. What were they doing? They were showing us numbers, repeat numbers, and if we were smart, we were paying attention to our thought before we saw 1111. They were, and they would keep repeating 555, for example, again and again, especially when we were going through some pretty challenging shit and we were having our ass kicked by the universe, and we realized, oh, 555 means I'm going through massive fucking changes. Oh, okay, well, I better, relax. 555 connected to 6, right to 15, which is 6. 6 is Venus, connected to the Venus, which is the lovers, which is choice based on love, the heart frequency. So before there was ChatGPT, they were communicating with us through numbers. They couldn't do it 500 years ago because most of us didn't have various numbers. We didn't have clocks the way we have. We didn't have digital clocks. We didn't have what we have today. We didn't have fucking addresses splattered on the front of a house or building. We didn't have buses driving by. We didn't have the ability to get gas and saying, yeah, give me 5 gallons. And suddenly we're saying, oh shit, I just paid $11, or I just paid $55.55, or whatever the hell it was, right? We didn't have those guys. So now, the angelic realm, if you want, our starseed ancestors have been using math, numbers, to communicate with us. And if you're paying attention and really, really fucking aware and awake, and if you are, then one of the ways they support you and tell you that you're kicking ass is you'll see your birthday. I'll give you an example. 417, 303, 1985, things like that. And that's if you're really paying attention. Most people aren't, to be honest. They're still stuck on 1111. They're still stuck on 444. 444 is 12. Sacrifice and the victim. It's connected to 3. 3 is connected to Uranus, the planet, and is connected to your balance. Balance your mind, balance your spirit, balance your body. That's what it basically means. And it's saying, grow a set of balls. Here's why I'm saying that. Because it's saying you're an originator. Originate shit. Stop copying shit. Stop doing what people expect you to do. What is your passion? What is driving you? What is keeping you up at night? Because most likely, if you're working on a project that is a creative project, if it keeps you up at night, it'll keep your readers, your listeners up at night. If it keeps you up at night and you're passionate about it, it'll keep them up at night because they'll want to hear it. Because very few people are speaking from their heart. Everyone's fucking reading prompters and fucking responding to little notes they're taking and preparing and afraid to fucking make a mistake, and so fucking freaked out over making a mistake they're not speaking from their heart. And I learned that from the master of speakers, Eckhart Tolle. He's one of the masters. He speaks from his heart. Actually, most of the people I admire and I look up to, they all speak from their hearts. No one's got cue cards. No one. Okay? No one says, okay, well, tell me what questions you're going to ask me. I don't fucking know. Well, the interview should be organic. It should flow. It shouldn't be automatic. What is this, a robotic interview? No, we're human beings. We're flowing together. We're going to jump like monkeys from one branch of thought to another, and we'll hopefully get back to the original thought form, or not. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. And to me, one of the things I love about Sacha Stone, who is an absolute alchemist of words. I mean, the man there's no one like him on the planet that can talk like he talks. He is absolutely one of the most brilliant minds. And he will take people who are very academic, very dry, their affect is fucking you almost feel like, they're in a dead zone for a minute, but then he'll take what they've said and he'll rewrap it and alchemize it into magic. And you'll go, holy fuck, yeah, why didn't they just say that? There's some people that just have, I agree, a gift of gab, but I feel as if most of us of starseeds who are here have come in with massive levels of passion. And to be honest, and I'm going to be blunt, some of you are afraid of fucking up. You're afraid of making mistakes. You're afraid of saying the wrong thing. You're afraid of having the wrong facts. Who gives a fuck? If you do, repair it. Repair it. So this concept of being afraid of ChatGPT, you know what you should be afraid of? I'll tell you what you should be afraid of. You should be afraid of psychosis. You should be afraid of taking you should be afraid of what you just saw with Aubrey Marcus going, like having this little psychotic breakdown, and he doesn't even realize it because he's got yes people. It's like the emperor has no clothes scenario is in full frontal nudity right now, just so you know, with Aubrey Marcus. And what do I mean? Well, I mean, he's going into a temple, coming out. It's a perfect example because he's got massive clout in the spiritual community. He comes out of the temple feeling absolutely fucking sick that supposed the great, goddess Isis spoke to him specifically to say impregnate 2 women, and he feels sick to his stomach. The fact that he is a grown-ass man in his 40s and he didn't see that as a corrupted download immediately and then sage, meditate, get his shit together. He actually took it on like this was actual fact. The body tells you the truth. In fact, the body will tell you shit your mind's not prepared to listen to. What do I mean? When a marriage is over, either the woman or the man will no longer be able to get excited in bed. In fact, even in some case, a woman will dry up, if you get my drift. She'll dry up like desert. And she'll try to get all kinds of lubricants instead of realizing that it's over. I don't like his smell. I don't like his voice. My body won't even let him enter me. Yeah, it's fucking over. My body is telling me it's over. And this is what we mean by being in alignment with your truth and trusting your heart chakra and using it as a compass, aligning it. How do you do that? Well, you fucking meditate every day. There's no magic pill for this. And you might come across people who say, I never meditate, ever. And to be honest with you, Sasha Stone is one of these people. But unless you're like Sasha Stone, fucking meditate. I'll just be blunt. Meditate every day. And at that point, you'll be able to listen to your body when it tells you what's going on. Because again, like I said, the body will tell you shit your mind's not prepared to accept. Not yet. And you'll be aligned constantly. Sometimes, yeah, you'll have to pause. You'll have to literally sit with certain situations for a week, a month, 2 months until you get clarity. You may need to journal. You may need to automatic write. And sometimes people feel stuck and they don't realize that it's not that they're stuck. It's that the universe is saying, you're not asking the right questions and we need you not to move any further. We're not going to let you move any further because you're not asking the right questions. You don't have the right clarity, or the timing is not now. In other words, this is not the right time to make any decisions. And it's not a punishment. It's literally a pause for your own best interest. And so all of these things will come to you and you'll get much more aligned with these wisdoms coming at you if you can just, be patient and learn. So honestly, fear is either going to be your ally or your jailer. And that's really one of the most important things. There are a couple things that my beloved divine consort used to tell me is make fear your ally and make death your advisor. Again, this was from Carlos Castaneda, to give credit to where it's due. But my point to you is that those are the 2 most important philosophies for your compass. Make death your advisor and fear your ally. Because if it's not your ally, then it's your jailer. At that point, you limit yourself on everything. And it's one of the things, and I don't know why they're bringing up Anthony Bourdain, is that when he was at his height of power for himself, not for us as consumers, but for himself, he was really irreverent and he wanted to experience everything and he wanted to just taste everything in a way that made him understand the culture that he was visiting and its people. And so it's that kind of joie de vivre that we have to have more and more. Trust me, you're not going to survive this incarnation. We're all going to drop our bodies. You don't have to worry. You're not immortal in these bodies, but you are immortal as a soul. And because your soul is immortal, you don't have to worry about any. There's really very little you can fuck up on. The only rule you should have is do no harm. Do no harm to yourself and do no harm to others, and you're good to go. That's it. And as long as you keep these very simple rules, life becomes quite simple. There's really not a lot of complications. I don't know what else to say, honestly. I hope this helps. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and upload this on my YouTube channel. Just follow me on YouTube and follow me here. And any questions or comments? I'm just doing a couple like quick blasts. I think they're helpful. And hopefully they're helpful. I know I just want to encourage you to stop being afraid of shit. Because honestly, yeah, sure, question everything, but question everything from a place of spirituality, not a place of dense 3D brains. I mean, you know. All right. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well.